Breaking. King Charles just ended a prime minister's career without raising his voice, without issuing a threat, without stepping outside tradition. 48 hours ago, Keir Starmer walked through the gates of Buckingham Palace as Britain's leader, confident, composed, convinced he had full control of the government and the narrative. Today, he walks away as a man whose political career didn't just end, it imploded in full view of the world. And what unfolded inside that palace didn't just end one man's job. It exposed a truth most people never truly understood about where real power actually sits in the United Kingdom. And, trust me, if you think you already know this story, you don't. Not even close. Before we dive deeper, hit subscribe. This channel digs into the political chess moves mainstream outlets won't touch, the stuff that happens in the shadows, in whispers, in rooms you'll never see. You'll want to be here for what's coming next. Now let me take you inside the room where everything collapsed. It's Tuesday morning at Buckingham Palace. Starmer arrives for what he assumes will be a routine weekly meeting, a short chat, a polite update, the usual exchange of nods and courtesies. He adjusts his tie, rehearses a few talking points, expects nothing but formality and tradition. But from the moment he steps through the doorway, something feels wrong. King Charles isn't smiling. He doesn't stand, doesn't offer a greeting, not even the traditional acknowledgement of the weather. Instead, sitting on the polished table between them is a single folder stamped in bold lettering, Constitutional Conduct. According to two people present in the room, Charles opens the folder with slow, deliberate movement. Inside, printed copies of Starmer's recent speeches, the ones where he said, clearly and publicly, that the monarchy serves Parliament, not the other way around. The statements that triggered headlines, opinion pieces, arguments across talk shows and social media uproar. Charles looks up, and even though his voice is quiet, everyone hears him perfectly. You have forgotten that respect sustains this nation's power. Without respect, there is no leadership. It is arrogance. The air freezes. Aides go still. Someone in the corner reportedly stopped mid-movement, as if afraid even the sound of shifting would make things worse. Starmer's face loses all color. For the first time in modern British memory, a king has given a sitting prime minister a direct personal rebuke, not in public, not on camera, but in the one place where the consequences hit harder, behind closed doors, where the real power is exercised. Within 90 minutes, Palace Communications released the single line. No drama. No accusations. No yelling. Just this. His Majesty believes all branches of government must act with respect toward the institutions that bind this nation together. It doesn't name Starmer, but everyone reading it knows exactly who the message is aimed at. And then the country detonates. Within minutes, hashtags like hashtag Crown vs. Commons and hashtag Starmer humiliated rocket to #1 globally. News networks drop scheduled programming. Parliament erupts into chaos, MPs shouting, pointing, slamming hands on desks. Even Labour MPs, usually loyal to their leader, start whispering in side corridors. What is he doing? Why did he say that? How do we control this? The building starts to feel like it's cracking at the seams. Starmer, still believing he can survive the storm, tries to steady himself. He's faced criticism before. He's navigated scandals, reshuffles, countless press attacks. So he walks outside number 10 later that afternoon, surrounded by jittery aides, trying to look unshaken. His voice trembles just slightly as he speaks. In this country, the government answers to Parliament, not inherited privilege. It's meant to sound strong. It comes out sounding strained, almost pleading. The clip goes viral immediately, but not the way he hoped. Constitutional experts call it reckless, tone-deaf, politically suicidal. Scholars question whether he actually understands Britain's constitutional framework. Journalists call it the worst-timed statement of his career. Even commentators who generally support Labour shake their heads on air, saying he misread the moment entirely. Then the leak. Late that night, confidential memos from inside Downing Street appear online. They reveal that Starmer's team had been drafting proposals to modernize royal protocol, reducing the king's role in appointing ministers, limiting weekly briefings, trimming ceremonial responsibilities. On paper, it's bureaucratic reform. But to the public watching at home, especially after the palace rebuke, it looks like something far bigger, an attempt to sideline the monarchy, weaken its role, silence an institution many people still see as central to national identity. The backlash is volcanic. By Wednesday morning, Transport Secretary Louise Hay resigns live on television, saying she cannot serve a government that undermines the dignity of the crown. 3 more ministers follow. Internal labor group chats explode with panic. Senior MPs start meeting behind closed doors, discussing fallback plans. The name Angela Rayner appears repeatedly. Outside Buckingham Palace, crowds begin forming organically, without organization or party machinery. Families, students, pensioners, thousands waving Union Jacks, chanting, "Defend the Crown" and "Respect our King." Similar gatherings appear in Manchester, Glasgow, Liverpool, Bristol. Britain hasn't seen spontaneous royalist demonstrations of this scale for decades. And, through all of it, King Charles says nothing. No second statement. No clarifications. No media appearances. Instead, he visits a charity in Yorkshire, speaks softly with children in a hospital, smiles gently while shaking hands with World War II veterans. Cameras capture him calm, warm, steady, the image of dignity. Next to that, Starmer, red-faced, snapping at reporters, stumbling through explanations, looks frantic, small, spiraling. By Thursday, the polling arrives, catastrophic numbers. Starmer's approval rating collapses by 28 points in 4 days, the biggest single-week drop for any UK leader in modern polling. Support for the monarchy skyrockets to a 30-year high. Even traditional Labour strongholds show massive swings in sentiment. People aren't just unsure about Starmer. They're furious. Global coverage intensifies the humiliation. Australian papers praise Charles for restraint. Canada calls him a steady symbol in chaotic times. Even the White House issues a rare comment on the British monarchy, referring to it as an enduring institution of democratic stability. Every foreign endorsement makes Starmer's position look weaker. By Friday evening, the Labour Party is no longer debating whether Starmer is in trouble. They're planning what comes after him. A letter signed by 37 Labour MPs, including several cabinet ministers, leaks to the press, calling for a no-confidence vote. Backroom meetings grow more frequent. Strategy memos circulate quietly. Rayner, who has said very little publicly, is now widely believed to have enough internal support to challenge him. Over the weekend, more resignations. More leaks. More private meetings. By Sunday night, number 10 feels like a haunted building. Staff whisper. Aides avoid eye contact. Phones buzz nonstop. Sources inside say Starmer is holding frantic meetings, searching for a path out of the crisis, but everyone already knows the truth. There is no path. It's over. On Monday morning, news reporters gather outside number 10, packed shoulder to shoulder. At 8 a.m., Starmer steps out. And in that moment, he doesn't look like a leader. He looks like someone carrying the weight of a country's disapproval on his shoulders. Pale, drained, hollow, he walks to the podium. He grips the sides tightly, like the wood is the only thing keeping him standing. "My duty," he begins, voice shaking, "has always been to serve the British people with honor, integrity, and respect for our institutions." A long pause. A swallow. He continues, "Recent events have damaged trust, and our country needs stability above all else. I have informed His Majesty the King that I am resigning as Prime Minister." Clicking cameras fill the air. No cheers. No jeers. Just silence. A national exhale. And here's the part most people misunderstand. Starmer didn't lose because the king shouted or demanded anything. Charles never screamed, never raged, never issued a threat. He didn't need to. That's the thing about real power stays still. It waits. It lets others reveal their weakness. It lets the weight of public trust do the work. The loudest man in the room is rarely the strongest. The calmest usually wins. Starmer tried to demonstrate that Parliament outranks the monarchy. But what he proved instead is that if you disrespect an institution woven into the country's identity, one people feel emotionally attached to, They will abandon you faster than any party vote or parliamentary motion ever could. King Charles understood something fundamental. Starmer didn't. And that's why one man stands steady, quiet, unbothered, and the other just became a footnote in political history. So now the question is yours. Did Starmer deserve this downfall? Or did the monarchy go too far? Drop your real thoughts in the comments. I actually want to know what side you're on with this. And hit subscribe. Because this story isn't finished. Not even close. The biggest questions are still ahead. Who takes power now? What shape does Britain shift into after this? And what happens when the next prime minister tries to push these